Welcome back to the unique show of IELTS Live. Well, first of all, before we begin, I would like to thank you for the overwhelming response that we got. And I believe all you students are ready with your lecture notes that we have WhatsApped you. And believe me, these sessions that you are getting on the TV will be quite useful for you if you intend to pass these exams. As I mentioned earlier also, one of the toughest exams, that's what we feel, but with us, you crack it. So let's start with this. Now, today what we are going to discuss, that's the question. Well, as I said earlier, we will be going with the tips of each section first to understand that these tips are very important and they should be followed as it should be followed. That's what I mean. Now, when we talk about the reading module, one of the important ones in IELTS, there are different types of questions that will come your way and you need to find answers for that based on the formulas that is given to you. Now, when I say formulas, I mean the approach. That is very important. There are 14 questions of IELTS in academic and 12 in general. Types of questions rather, but having said that, it is not mandatory that general will not get these questions. It is nowhere mentioned by IELTS anywhere. So be careful, you may get any question. So be ready for all the type of questions. Never stop yourself by telling to yourself that I'm a general student, so I'll only practice general tests. Don't do that mistake. You may end up getting less scores in general. And as in exams, what I believe is practice the tougher way, your exam is easier. Practice the easier way, your exam is tougher. So it's up to you how you want to go for it. Now, when we talk about reading modules, as I said, there are different question types coming in your way. Today's question type that we are going to discuss is yes, no, not given, true, false, not given. In our schools, we always used to have those teachers who used to tell us that read the passage, then attempt the questions. Well, in school, they were very right and they were very true. But in IELTS, it is just the opposite. Read the questions, find the answers. Why this? Let me explain you. If you read the passage, you lose your time. To understand the passage that is in a good language of good language standards of English, is very hard to understand the whole passage. So what I reckon is read the questions, find the answers. To find each answers, there are different ways, but always follow the way that is mentioned by the experts. Now, there is a concept, this I always try to, explain the students so that they understand that it is based on this concept that the exams are formed. Well, what is that? When we talk about any exam, they define a formula to find the answers. Then only then they can say that this is right and this is wrong. So let's go to the formulas first, understand how to find answers. Well, in my experience, I have seen students finding their answers in their own way and getting it right also. But it is that the concept is by doing all these reading modules, reading questions in your own way, you may get right answers. But if you follow the formulas, you will always get right answers. So it's up to you which one you want to follow. Today we are going to do with true, false, yes, no, not given question types. We will look at a passage, we will find the answers, and I'll explain you the formula that is used to find these answers. So let us start with this and try to analyze how to get all these questions right. Now let me tell you one more thing. As far as IELTS is concerned, the question types of yes, no, true, false, not given may vary from 5 questions to 20 questions. So this is the percentage that comes in. So try to understand that these questions will play a crucial role even if you want to score 6 in IELTS. So let's start and let's see how to understand and how to get these answers right.
Planning to immigrate or study abroad? Contact Can Approve for hassle-free immigration, education and legal consultation services. Headquartered in Canada with more than 19 years of experience, our expert lawyers and consultants can help you immigrate to Canada, Australia and European countries. Study your dream course in the UK, New Zealand and Canada. Study MBBS in Georgia and Ukraine. So get in touch. Visit canapprove.com.
Well, let's start with this module of yes, no, true, false, not given. ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് ഈ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ്റെ അനാലിസിസ് ആണ്, അതിൻ്റെ ആൻസർ കണ്ടെത്തേണ്ട രീതി, ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോണത്. So let us start with this approach of finding the answers by searching for the right information, not by reading the whole passage. I repeat it once again, not by reading the whole passage. Don't do that mistake. Now, when we talk about true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, how it works, let me explain you in detail how it works. First of all, anything that is given in the passage is true. Anything that is explained in the passage as it is always true. Now, when you go to false or true or yes, it is the same. When you talk about the next one, false or no, how does it work? When the question comes in that says that half of the question is there in the passage, part of the question is there in the passage, other part is not there. Do your paraphrasing match with synonyms? If it matches, the answer is again true or yes. If it mismatches, the answer is false. It's very simple. And the basic criteria or the key of reading is you are a computer as far the passage is concerned. So you only know the passage. You don't know anything else about the passage. You just know what is mentioned in the passage. And when you know only these things, what happens is whatever is mismatching, that becomes false. Whatever is mismatching, that becomes false. So this is something that you should remember as far as false or no is concerned. When we talk about not given is an aspect that I've seen students feel that it is the easiest one, because whatever is not given is not given. It's very simple. But here the issue is whatever is not given is not given. But there is one more criteria. The fourth aspect of true, false, yes, no, not given is that anything that is not specified is also not given. Now, when I say not specified, means something that is not clear, something that is not specifically mentioned, that is also not given. I'll give you a small example. If I say that Cochin is one of the port cities. Cochin is one of the port cities of India. This is the passage. Now, if the question comes in, Cochin is the port city of India, the options are, first of all, it cannot be true. Why it cannot be true? Because if you say true, then you are saying that Cochin is the city. That means the only city. That will not work. It is not the right way of matching the information that is given to you. The next option, if you say false, that means Cochin is not the port city. Cochin is not among the port city. That is also wrong. So the third option is not given. Why not given? Because in the passage it is mentioned that Cochin is one of the port cities. So Cochin is a port city. It's a port city. But Cochin is not the port city of India. So what happens? This answer becomes not given. That is not specified. Let me make it clear. It is not specified. That is the reason why this answer you will get right if you say that this information is not given or not specified. I hope it's clear with the concept, right? So this is the way it works out. Well, to be very frank with you, these kind of classes, it needs a kind of a conceptual analysis, a kind of understanding the whole scenario properly and finding the answers. I promise you, if you follow these formulas, you get all the answers right. And that is what you're sitting here for. So let me ensure that you get that. This is the formula. Now, I again repeat it once again. The reason is, again and again, this is the session that is quite useful for you as far as reading modules are concerned. First one, anything that is given in the passage is true. Second one, anything that is partly given in the passage, the other part is not matching, is not same as the passage, is false. The last one is not given. Not given itself has got two scenarios. One is the information is not given at all. That is fine. That is the easiest one to answer. It is not given, not given. But the next one is if it is not specified, that is also not given. So try to keep this in mind and try to attempt to solve these questions. It's my word, you will get all the right answers. So now what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at a passage and understanding what is the meaning of the passage and how do you find the answers for the questions mentioned below the passage in the true, false, yes, no, not given format. So let's start with this.
Planning to immigrate or study abroad? Contact Can Approve for hassle-free immigration, education and legal consultation services. Headquartered in Canada with more than 19 years of experience, our expert lawyers and consultants can help you immigrate to Canada, Australia and European countries. Study your dream course in the UK, New Zealand and Canada. Study MBBS in Georgia and Ukraine. So get in touch. Visit canapprove.com.
Well, so as you could see in the slides, this is the passage that we are going to discuss today. Now, as it is mentioned in the passage, it is about an era where it is called as 100 days, and this one is all about finding out the answers, true, false and not given. It's a small passage, you could see that it's a short passage that I've given, and we're going to find 3 questions, 3 answers, and we're going to explain and understand what is the formula that is used to get these answers. Alright, now concentrate, because reading calls for concentration. What I suggest when you do reading modules is always you should attempt the reading question either when you have time of 1 hour to sit with all the 4 passages, or decide 15 minutes for one passage. Be free for 15 minutes, then take this out. Keep your favorite gadget away from you. These mobiles, they distract you. So keep it away and sit down for 15 minutes. One thing I always wonder and I don't understand is when students spend this much of time and money to clear this exam, they still think that, they can just take it lightly. Don't do that. It's a mistake. This exam calls for your time. This exam calls for your concentration. This exam calls for your commitment as well. So you should be committed. You should be able to read this properly. Then attempt it. Otherwise, don't do that mistake. Well, let us look into this. So the first question, as I said, you should look at the question first. The first question is, the early 1800s witnessed an era of political reform. Now, where is this piece of information mentioned? First of all, let us understand. Look at the first line itself. Since the early 1800s, the term of 100 days as represented a political phrase referring to a short period of concentrated reform. So, it is very clear, and it was all about political reformation. So, this answer becomes true. It is the easiest one, I do agree with that, but yes, this part is true. So, it is very important that this concept you understand properly, that the information is given and it becomes true if the information matches with what is there. If this question would have been in a different way, for instance, the early 1800s witnessed an era of technical revolution, then the answer becomes false. Whereas I've seen with some students who come to me and tell me that it is not given because technical revolution they are not talking in the passage. I do agree that, but our formula is, it is not about technical revolution, it is about the part of the question that is there in the passage, and part of the question is 1800. Now the same question in a different format, if you could look at, if it would have been the early 1900s witnessed an era of technical reforms, then yes, the answer is not given, because no part of the question is there in the passage. Now this is the concept, this is what you should understand, that you need to analyze whether the information is there in the passage or not. If it is there, matching, it is true. If it is mismatching, it also becomes false. This is the concept, right? Now let's look at the next question, that is about false. Let's see how you get a false answer. So now let us look at the second question. Now the second question is, looking at the passage, the Chinese Revolution took place between March and June 1815. Now, you need to understand that, first of all, Chinese Revolution is not there in the passage. So a lot of students come and tell me that the answer is not given. Well, the answer cannot be not given because there is something that they're talking about in that period of March and June 1815. What is that they're talking about in the passage? They're talking about a time of concentrated political reform that took place between March and June 1815. So it is not the Chinese Revolution, it is called as a political revolution. So the reform. So this is what happens with these kind of questions, wherein your half of the passage or half of the question is matching with the passage and the other half is not matching. The answer becomes not given by default. It's very important for you guys to understand that whenever you read the passage, you are a computer. So in this question about Chinese Revolution, there's nothing there, I agree. But it talks about March and June 1815. So this is important. This is very important. This is the way it works out. Am I clear? Now here itself I'll give you one more example of understanding this concept. If suppose in the passage it says that Kapil Dev was the captain of Indian cricket team, and if the question is Kapil Dev was the first captain to win World Cup for India, the answer becomes false. Why it is false? Because Kapil Dev was not the first captain who got the Cricket World Cup as per the passage. Reality, it is true. As per the passage, it is not this. So as per the passage, what is the answer? Kapil Dev was the captain of Indian cricket team. This is the formula. This is what happens. So don't depend on your general knowledge as well as your concept of saying this is not mentioned here. No. If a part of that is mentioned, then your answer should be paraphrasing it and finding out whether it matches or mismatches. This is something that you should remember. Always keep in mind that true false talks about whether a part of the question is there or not. This is the formula to divide, to find it out. What is the answer? Let's continue with this now. The true, false or yes, no, we tried it out with these options. Now comes the trickiest one. And what is the trickiest one? That is not given. Let's continue with the next one.
Planning to immigrate or study abroad? Contact Can Approve for hassle-free immigration, education and legal consultation services. Headquartered in Canada with more than 19 years of experience, our expert lawyers and consultants can help you immigrate to Canada, Australia and European countries. Study your dream course in the UK, New Zealand and Canada. Study MBBS in Georgia and Ukraine. So get in touch. Visit canapprove.com.
So here we go again with our not given option. Now, as I said earlier also, not given is a concept where you've got two aspects to follow. What are they? Now, as I said earlier, first one is very simple. Anything where the information is not given in the passage, it is not given. There's no question about it. But the key here is, if the information is not specified, then what happens? Now you can see the slide. The question on this segment is about King Louis XVIII reclaimed his throne, and this was the result of the Battle of Waterloo. Now, the question says that he reclaimed his throne, and this was the result of the battle. Now, if you look at the passage, how the information is mentioned. King Louis XVIII reclaimed his throne. This was the result of, this was one of the results of the Battle of Waterloo. So it was not just the result, it is one of the results. And the question says it is the result. So as per the question, there was only one result, and that was reclaiming of his throne. But in the passage, it says this was one of the results. There could be other results as well, and they are not mentioned in the passage. So what happens is your answer becomes not given. This is a concept that you should understand. Wherever this kind of questions come, the answer becomes not given. Why? Because it is not specified. If it is not specified, the answer is not given. This is the concept. So these three things, if you remember, I promise you all your 5 to 20 questions are right. And this is the way it works out as far as IELTS reading is concerned. So today we went through with true, false, yes, no, not given questions. And we tried to analyze what is the formula to find answers in the right way as far as these questions are concerned. Now, let me again recap that these sessions are intended to make you perfect in finding out the answers for the modules of IELTS, and today we were discussing about reading. Now, these three questions, I hope it is clear with you, and all these lecture notes, everything, you'll be getting it as well, as I said earlier also. And now what we're going to do is we are going to understand the method of finding headings of a paragraph. Headings of a paragraph is also a different section that talks about different methods of finding it out, because headings and matching information are the questions that would also come in IELTS, at least 5 to 8 of them. So let's work on that as well. Let us start with our heading concept. Now, finding headings. Finding headings is always a task that I see students tend to get the right answers, but there are chances that you miss out because you have your own way of doing it. As I said earlier also, you also have your own method or approach of finding the answers. Now, when you do it like that, as I did mention earlier, നമുക്ക് ശരിയായ ആൻസർ കിട്ടാം, തെറ്റായതും കിട്ടാം. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു കൺസെപ്റ്റിൽ ഉണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും പറയുന്നത് നമുക്ക് ഫോർമുലയാണ് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. എന്താണോ പറഞ്ഞത് ആ സെഗ്മെന്റ് വെച്ചിട്ട് അതിന് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു രീതി അവർ ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആ രീതി ചെയ്താൽ മാത്രമേ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ശരിയായിട്ടുള്ള ആൻസർ കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. സോ നമുക്ക് ലെറ്റ്സ് ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ദ heading concept. Well, due to the time constraints, what we are doing now is we're going to wind up today's session, wherein we were able to understand the concepts of true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, and also we had a briefing on heading. Of course, heading and matching information is not complete as yet. നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് ചെയ്തത് ട്രൂ ഫോൾസും യെസ് നോയും പിന്നെ ഹെഡിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ഒരു ആസ്പെക്ട് മാത്രമാണ്, അത് മൊത്തമായിട്ടില്ല. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്ലാസ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യും. സമയപരിധി മൂലം നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പം ഈ സെഷൻ ഇവിടെ വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാണ്. Now what I suggest you is you should try to solve these questions that is given to you on your WhatsApp when you'll be getting all the questions on the WhatsApp, and once you attempt it, you send us the answers, we will analyze it and we will give you the answers, and we'll also explain you what went wrong with you. Our target is to ensure that this class is an informatory class and you follow the concepts of IELTS. And if anything you need, if any other assistance you need, you can always WhatsApp it to us on the number given out here, and we will be waiting for you. Once again, I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my class. See you again next week, same time. Thank you.
Planning to immigrate or study abroad? Contact Can Approve for hassle-free immigration, education and legal consultation services. Headquartered in Canada with more than 19 years of experience, our expert lawyers and consultants can help you immigrate to Canada, Australia and European countries. Study your dream course in the UK, New Zealand and Canada. Study MBBS in Georgia and Ukraine. So get in touch. Visit canapprove.com.